If you would allow me an opportunity to share with you a very serious conversation that I had with a set of new clients, it's my hope that what I share with this couple is a help to you the way it was to them. Both of them, 29 years old. They have been dating since the age of 21. They have one son together. And she initiated the conversation with me. She indicated that she has seen my information and content online, and she shared it with her husband, who agreed that it would be a good idea for them to talk with me. She stated that the relationship is wearing her down mentally and emotionally, and has been doing this for the last 3 years. I asked her what were the problems in the relationship. She said, in essence, he started off very charming, very sweet, loving her in ways that she had never been loved before. She was, at meeting him at 21, she was really overwhelmed by his love. Really felt that it was very genuine, very sweet, and honestly, one of the sweetest things that she had ever experienced. He agreed to all of these things. She then said that he began to start complaining after about 7 or 8 months. He began to start complaining about her friends and family. He would say things to her like he did not want her to hang out, go out to dinner with her girlfriends. He would get upset when she would go see family who lives in another state about 2 or 3 hours away. He would get upset when she wanted to go visit them for, say, a weekend. She would even invite him to come. He wasn't interested in coming, but would get upset when she went, would get upset when she was on the phone with family members and friends for extended periods of time. He would be, silent with her when she would get off the phone as if something was bothering him. She would ask him what's wrong. He would say nothing, and then would later complain about her not giving him enough attention. They lived together, so that complicated matters more, and that they were in the same house. And she eventually dropped her friends. She dropped her friends. I said, was this at his request or your doing? She said, well, he did not request it, but it was clear to me, this is her talking, that he was very uncomfortable with me having friends. And so I dropped my friends, family members that I used to talk to regularly. I stopped talking to them, and he seemed to be much happier. I said, interesting. I said, sir, is this correct? He said, yes, sir, it is. He said, I never asked her to do it, but I did not think she had great friends, and I had a problem with her, some of her family members. I said, what were these problems? And the things that he described, that they always wanted to, spend time with her, engage her, that they wanted to spend long hours on the phone with her and always wanted her to go out to dinner and hang out. He had a problem with that because he felt like since she was seeing someone that she should not be out in the streets, his words. I said to her, is this true? She said, yes, sir. She said, but then Doc, it changed. After she had dropped her friends and family members, he then became very verbally abusive. He would easily get angry with her. He would snap off and pop off and say all kinds of things to her, mean things at her, threaten her to leave, threaten to put her out, all these things. And so he's sitting on the call, and I said, sir, are all these things true? He said, yes, sir. He said, unfortunately, they are. He said, I'll admit my temper has grown over time out of control. I don't really understand why, but it has grown a little bit out of control, and I'm really not proud of it, but that's kind of what has occurred. She said to me, Doc, I really feel like I should leave this relationship right in front of him. I don't feel respected in this relationship. I don't feel valued, but I love him, and I'm really struggling with this, how he's changed. I looked at him and I said, sir, do you know what a hyena is? He said, excuse me? I said, do you know what a hyena is? He said, yeah, the animal, right? I said, yes, sir. He said, yeah, I'm familiar with that. I said, how familiar are you with hyenas? He said, not very familiar. He said, I've seen them on TV. I said, have you ever seen one in real life? He said, no, sir. I said, perfect. I said, I used to watch the National Geographic channel, and they would have specials on hyenas. And hyenas have always been intriguing to me, the nerd part of me, because hyenas on the surface look like very fun animals. If you've ever seen a hyena, they look like fun animals. They laugh, thus the term laughing hyena. They're laughing animals. They look like they're having a ball. But the problem with the hyenas is hyenas come across as very sweet and very gentle animals and fun animals to be around. And then once you get around a hyena, that hyena begins to then isolate you. And what that hyena does, if say there is a wolf or a sheep that's out in the field and the hyena sees the sheep, the hyena will play with the sheep and the sheep will think that the hyena is safe. So the hyena will show the sheep love and fun and care. And then after that happens, then the hyena will begin to pull the sheep from its environment so that the sheep feels safe with the hyena. It's at that point that then the hyena begins to control the sheep. Controls the sheep, gets the sheep to a place where the sheep feels threatened, the sheep feels intimidated, the sheep feels like its life is in danger. She started crying on the call, hard. I said, ma'am, are you okay? She couldn't hardly even speak. He looks at her, he looks back at me. His eyes are starting to water up. I said, sir, you're the hyena. He looked at me, he put his head down. I said, no, I need you to look at me. You're the hyena. And what you've done is first, you manipulated her. He said, Doc, I get where this is going. He said, but I didn't manipulate. I said, no, listen to me. I said, when we meet people and we love bomb them and show them all kinds of love and affection and really go all out to get them, that's great. But my grandmama used to say, don't start nothing you can't finish. And what happens is when we meet people and we do all of those things and show them, so much love and care and affection that they've never received before, when we pull the rug out from under them, they feel naked. I said, sir, you're the hyena. You manipulated her to get her in. And then you isolated her. There was nothing wrong with her friends. There was nothing wrong with her family. You said she had a healthy relationship with them. You just didn't like the fact that they wanted to see her all the time. This wasn't unhealthy. These weren't unhealthy relationships. So you isolated her. You made her have to choose between her past life and her family and you. And the reality of the matter is, anybody who wants you to completely abandon your life for their life doesn't love you or your life. Do you understand that? He put his head down. He starts to cry. She's bawling. I've never had a client cry this hard. She's crying uncontrollably. I said, sir, I'm going to say this again, that anybody that asks you to abandon your life for their life doesn't love you or your life. That's called isolation. I said, and just like a hyena does to a sheep, after that, once you pulled her away from family, then you started to control her. You started talking to her any kind of way. You started treating her any kind of way. I said, you're the problem here, because when control arrives, then abuse follows. He starts crying pretty hard. I give them a second. I said, so now that we are clear with what's going on, how do you stop the hyena? I said, one of two ways. Either the sheep gets away from the hyena, gets far away from the hyena so that the sheep is out of the harm's way of the hyena. Or number two, somebody shoots the hyena and completely eliminates the hyena from being a threat from the sheep. I said, the obvious should be clear here. Obviously, you're not going to be shot. They started laughing. I said, but sir, I'm going to say to your face, you guys don't need to be together. You've got to heal, sir. Because anybody that wants anybody under the guise of them not having anybody else has created manipulation that has moved to isolation and now has moved to control. Leave her alone so you can heal, so that you can grow and develop as a man. And then that since you all have a son together, if you can come back healed and whole and allow her to have a life aside from the one that she just has with you, this relationship can work. He hugged her, kissed her. They're clients. I think they're going to be okay. I hope this helped. If it did, type church in the comments with 3 R's. And then remember, you've got 2 jobs. 1, be better today than what you were yesterday. And 2, don't forget what I told you. What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb. Listen, I've been dying to make this announcement for a very long time now, and I'm pleased to say that Inspire Nation has officially launched. Yes, we finally got a Facebook and YouTube community group where we're going to have exclusive content, exclusive shorts, exclusive discussion prompts, where we're going to engage with other people literally around the world who are on the same healing journey that we're on. I need you to go find these pages right now on Facebook and YouTube. Inspire Nation, follow the page, join the group, introduce yourself, and be prepared to link up with literally thousands of people around the world who are on the same healing journey, who are looking for the same resources, and who want to also be surrounded with other like-minded individuals who are growing in the same direction as you are. I'm so excited about this because it's the beginning of some great things I can't talk about right now. Listen, you got two jobs. One, be better today than what you were yesterday. And two, don't forget what I told you.